Hello there, a very good evening to you indeed, and many thanks for joining us on Rwanda Television. We do hope you had yourselves a great and productive day, and welcome to tonight's edition. These are the headlines. While receiving oath of the Prime Minister and the parliamentarians, the President of the Republic of Rwanda, His Excellency Paul Kagame, emphasized that this 5-year term must be productive. The Rwanda Defense Force personnel have received a training on VIP protection. We appreciate your company tonight on Rwanda Television News. My name is Sam Kalisa. And as we started off, after receiving the oath of the Prime Minister and members of the Parliament, the President of the Republic of Rwanda, His Excellency Paul Kagame, emphasized that this 5-year term must be productive. He stressed that it should be dedicated to solving problems rather than creating new ones, highlighting the importance of effective governance and responsibility. Adam Squizera starts us off tonight.
On Wednesday, Prime Minister Dr. Edouard Ngirente took the oath of the office, just one day after being reappointed by the President Paul Kagame. The ceremony took place in the building of the Parliament of Rwanda, where 80 members of the Parliament from the Chamber of Deputies were also sworn in, this being the 5th mandate of this chamber since the liberation of the country. Another significant event during the swearing ceremony was the election of the leaders of the Chamber of Deputies. Kazagwa III was elected as the new Speaker of the Chamber of Deputies. Musafaze Harerimana was re-elected as Deputy Speaker in charge of Finance and Administration, while Belen Wineza was elected as the new Deputy Speaker in charge of Parliamentary Affairs. In his speech, President Paul Kagame emphasized that this 5-year term should be productive. He stressed that it should be dedicated to solving problems rather than creating new ones, highlighting the importance of effective governance and responsibility.
Niyo ntambara ya mbere turwana nayo muri politike yacu.
It's the only struggle we have in our politics, the battle we fought over the past 30 years. Now, as we add another 5 years to this term, some of us already been sworn in. It won't be 5 years of idleness or increasing problems. Instead, it will be 5 years dedicated to reducing the problems. I feel bad I'm telling you like this, and there's another things that should be left here. With no action taken later, it's not appropriate. President Kagame also urged the newly sworn-in officials to work together as a unified pillar in governance, emphasizing that their efforts should be rooted in the development and well-being of the citizens. Regarding our work, as I mentioned, we are approaching the end of the ceremonies, and it's time to focus on the tasks at hand. The era of the endless meetings and unsolved issues must come to an end. It's unacceptable for a problem to be raised and those responsible be unaware of it, or even worse, to be aware and yet do nothing. Awareness isn't enough. It's your responsibility to act on it. That is part of the daily activities. Additionally, we must work together and support each other because no one can fulfill those responsibilities alone. This marks the first time that the term of the office of the head of state begins simultaneously with that of the members of parliament. Adam Squizera, RwandaTV News.
Thank you, Adam. President Paul Kagame has commented on religious matters, speaking on the recent developments in the country that saw churches that do not meet the requirements to stop to operate or shut down.
Ibyo byose mvuga amategeko ariho.
First of all, everything I have said is in the context of existing laws, and if those laws need to be amended, then let it be done, because after all, you and others are here for that. So the law needs to be respected. I noticed online on social media sites some people commenting that closing those churches is a sin and that I must not be aware that it was being done. Well, I am very much aware of it. I will not deny it just to look good. I know about it. If anything, let me make myself clear. I do not want those sorts of establishments to operate like that. I do not want disorderliness in any sector of the country, and that includes religious establishments. I will fight such practices, and that is why I call upon you as parliamentarians, as well as other concerned institutions, to establish clear guidelines on the establishment and operations of places of worship so that the general public is not victimized by dishonest people who use religion to carry out their schemes. This business of taking advantage of the masses must stop one way or another. Thirdly, I intend to give my input on that particular issue so that you may decide on how to proceed. These conmen who use churches to take people's hard-earned money and property are going to make us tax religious establishments in general. They are going to have to pay taxes for what they receive. And if dishonest means are being employed, then while the court case is pending, you will still have to pay taxes for what was given to you. If you are going to take from the people as if it is a business, then you are going to share it with the state.
President Paul Kagame also commented on regional matters, specifically the problem of insecurity in the eastern DR Congo and how it is affecting Rwanda, saying the country will not just stand by and watch as a threat to the peace and security of Rwandans is allowed to continue to exist.
Kuba kimaze imyaka 30 bivuze iki rero?
What then does it mean for this problem to have existed for 30 years? It means we're being lied to. They may say that they want to resolve the issue, but in reality, they want it to drag on. That is what is important to them, not the fact that the forces that killed 1 million people here are there being armed and trained and provided with other facilities by Congo's government. And to make matters worse, they expect us to watch us step on the matter and not say anything. Additionally, we have persecuted people that came from the eastern Congo to take refuge here in Rwanda, 130,000 in total. The international community knows that they are Congolese nationals, and what is being done about it? They take groups of 2 or 5 people, never more than 10, for resettlement in their own countries. How long will it take before that issue is resolved if you are taking such small numbers out of the multitude that is 130,000 refugees? Besides, they need to be settled in their motherland, not abroad. Whenever you strip people of their rights, there are always consequences. I usually ask them if they truly understand what I went through to get to where I am now. We fought for our rights and our country. It was not a gift, and no favors were done for us. Others may be afraid to fight for what they deserve because of the possibility of dying in the process. But woe be to you who threatens us, who are not afraid to die. You heard the threats against Rwanda, which is indeed a small country. We do not dispute that. If indeed the RDF is in Congo, why is it there? If you say that it is in Congo, why don't you say why the force is there? If you are so sure that the RDF is in Congo, then resolve that issue.
Moving ahead, Honorable Gertrude Kazargwa is now the Speaker of the Parliament after being elected with 73 votes of the 80 parliamentarians in the Chamber of Deputies. She spoke to our colleague Paul Rutikanga shortly after being sworn in. Take a look.
I'm feeling very well because it is time to work. Now I'm going to work because after giving oath with the president, it's time to work. It's time to join others, to join hand with other deputies so that we can work for our country, can work for our population.
In this coming term of 5 years, where are you going to strengthen more? Which areas do you think you are going to put more effort?
Thank you so much. The area that I should focus on especially is to go to be near our population, to see what's wrong. If the budget is there, what are we going to do with it? What is it going to serve for our population? What are we going to do so that the budget planned for go with the activities that will serve our population?
And as we conclude, what is the message to Rwandans who are following you right now as the President of the Parliament Deputy Chamber?
Thank you so much. Now we are going to plan for activities this coming 5 years. We'll be planning year by year, but again we have whole activities of 5 years where we'll be going to reach our population so that you can see what is not going on very well, because now we have a mandate of four mandates that have ended their mandate. So where they have finished, that's where we'll start from, in order to see that what has remained behind, so that we can put in more effort and work with others in other government and Senate and other institutions that they work together, respecting our roles, our responsibilities.
The parliamentarians who took the oath on Wednesday have committed themselves to actually listen to the input of the people they represent, because it has become clear and noted that some of the issues encountered by communities are always unadvocated for, as they should.
I'm very excited, and I would like, first of all, to thank the citizens of Rwanda for having elected us as members of parliament. And regarding the message delivered by His Excellency the President of the Republic regarding the follow-up of issues related to the citizen issues, to do a close follow-up of what is being done, mostly in the role of the members of parliament regarding the oversight of government activities, and also the enactment of the laws. When you're going to enact the laws, also to take into consideration the interest of the citizens. Yeah.
And moving ahead, 100 personnel from the Rwanda Defense Force, RDF military police, have successfully completed a 6-week intensive training program conducted in collaboration with the RDF and Qatar Armed Forces. The training was held at the Rwanda Military Academy, GACO, focused on key areas including counter-terrorism, VIP protection, and anti-riots. This joint initiative underscores the strong bilateral ties between Qatar and Rwanda and reflects their commitment to enhancing security capabilities. The training equips RDF personnel with advanced skills to effectively handle emerging security challenges, safeguard high-profile individuals, respond to terrorism threats, and deal with riots in order to contribute to security and stability both within Rwanda and in mission areas, and strengthen regional security efforts. The RDF Chief of Defense Staff, General Mubarak Muganga, who presided over the pass-out ceremony, congratulated the new trainees for their commitment and discipline, which enabled them to excel during the course. He reminded the graduates that the skills and knowledge acquired will be instrumental in fulfilling their duties. He also expressed his appreciation to Qatar Armed Forces for sharing their skills to RDF personnel and the good collaboration between the two countries. Captain Abdullah Al-Mari, the Chief of Training, appreciated the RDF for enhancing the good cooperation. The ceremony was also attended by RDF generals, senior and junior officers, and the delegation from Qatar Armed Forces. Moving ahead to other matters, the Ministry of ICT and Innovation is in the process of preparing specific policies aimed at promoting and supporting fintech startups. It is a framework that will help increase the number of Rwandans who can access financial services in an easy way, as well as attract more investors in the fintech sector. William Evans Mutabazi.
The Ministry of ICT and Innovation is in the process of preparing specific policies aimed at promoting and supporting fintech startups. It is a framework that will help increase the number of Rwandans who can access financial services in an easy way, as well as attract more investors in the fintech sector. According to McKinsey International, the financial services market in Africa continues to expand, growing at a rate of 10% annually. This growth gives hope that in 2025, this market will earn more than $230 billion. Rwanda, as one of the African countries that prioritizes fintech, continues to bring on board many entrepreneurs in this sector. Kripin and Kevin Kaisire are youths and founders of a company that helps small and medium business operators to use technology in their businesses. This technology helps business owners to easily identify purchased goods, those that are remaining and the profit made without the need of an accountant. Initially, most small business owners did not give reverence to technology usage in their day-to-day business operations, but over time, they have adjusted and adopted technology in business.
We have
now started working with much more established businesses that employ a big number of workers who need more data or to monitor their day-to-day business operations. Many have now embraced the use of technology, which can be as simple as making sale records or advanced as doing e-commerce. The Director General, Innovation and Emerging Technologies, Ms. Kunda Esther, remarked that the Rwandan government has been putting effort into the use of technology in financial services, which is why the ministry is now focusing on crafting special policies aimed at supporting fintech. What this framework will help us achieve is working with entities like the National Bank, BNR, and Capital Market Authority, we shall speed up the process of acquiring a working license for startups. Those with solutions that have no regulatory frameworks will be put in a sandbox to test their solution as both regulators come up with guidelines for them. We also consider continuing to work with Kigali International Finance Center to bring together all innovators and also externally source for investment for them. The Ministry of ICT and Innovation revealed further that these special policies will aim at providing opportunities for everyone who wants to invest in financial services with the help of technology. According to research, FinScope 2024, 96% of Rwandans have access to financial services compared to 93% in 2020, a change that was driven by adoption of technology around the country. William Evans, Mutabazi, RwandaTV News.
Thank you, William. The Rwanda Atomic Energy Board has signed a memorandum of understanding with Nano Nuclear Energy, Inc., an American advanced nuclear energy company. This agreement aims to make nuclear power easily accessible to the people of Rwanda and the regional markets. Olive Nete reports.
Let's proceed with the first task.
The Memorandum of Understanding focuses on enhancing the knowledge and skills of Rwandans in the nuclear power sector. It includes training programs in England and the subsequent phase where Rwanda will assemble the equipment needed to generate nuclear electricity. Nanonuclear will provide technical support and educational programs to develop a skilled workforce in the country, offering long-term benefits beyond the development of advanced nuclear reactor systems. Dr. Ndahayo Fidel, CEO of the Rwanda Atomic Energy Board, views this agreement as a significant opportunity for Rwanda and the regional market.
Considering that many African countries need this kind of technology, we think that it will be a great opportunity for Rwanda because this technology is available in the agreement we have, that they will put it here in Rwanda, where they will use it as an assembly plant, since they will be made here, which will give us a lot of opportunities because we will have experts. They will follow up on its operations wherever they go. Most of these experts will be Rwandans, and it will also provide jobs in the country.
James Walker, CEO of Nano Energy Inc., a leading American advanced and diversified nuclear energy company, states that the technology provides a rapid method for generating electricity through nuclear energy, which can be efficiently transferred and delivered to both people and industries.
And this would allow for all sorts of benefits in remote locations. So if water is an issue, desalination. If food was an issue, vertical farming. If industry was an issue, say for its concentration of ore for mining projects, then microreactors could provide both the process heat for concentrating ore, as well as providing electricity for accommodation, for electric vehicles. And they are more suited to supplying power to towns, cities, big projects like that. But with microreactors, you can ship hundreds of these things around the country to remote locations, and it will improve the quality of life, I think, for not just the remote communities, but for everybody. So.
This system can generate between 5 to 10 megawatts of electricity daily for industry and household use. The electricity produced by this system is expected to be reliable for 20 years before the equipment needs replacement.
Thank you, Olive. Parents involved in the Rwanda Parents Initiative on Autism report that raising a child with autism can have profound emotional and psychological effects on them. Coping with the diagnosis and managing the daily challenges of raising an autistic child often leads to significant psychological distress, including heightened levels of stress, anxiety, and depression. Enora Gladys reports.
While on the journey of raising awareness of autism, we still lack expertise in diagnostic facilities and specialized support services for autism spectrum disorder. Confirming that a child has autism requires expertise that calls for more interdisciplinarity. That is why the diagnosis requires not only educationists but also health and allied practitioners. Omutoni Larissa is the president of Rwanda Parents Initiative on Autism and tries to explain more concerning about the autism spectrum disorder. As someone who has 11 years of experience of having a child who has autism, autism is a disability that affects the brain, and someone who has autism has some different kinds of behaviors, the way they speak and the way they collaborate with the others in the society. You find that it is a bit hard to live with them. People with autism have different symptoms, and they are always helped on a different ways. Male children are the ones predisposed to have autism than female children. These children have some super abilities because some of them go in mainstream schools and they even excel. Some of them can also teach themselves on their own some things like reading, but this happens when the treatment starts earlier. Rwanda Parents Initiatives on Autism calls upon all the government institutions in charge to collaborate together to improve the quality of life of children, and also adults with autism are able to achieve their full potential and live a decent life. Because the number of people with autism is rising nowadays, we highly suggest to the government that at least in every district there should be a center of autism with trained people about autism so that they can be helped. Jean-Paul Rugema is a pediatrician who specialized in autism. He says that generally autism is recognized at the age of 2 years old and 3 years old. He also says that boys are the ones exposed to have autism than female.
The reason why this ratio is 2 to 1, it is mainly due to the even genetically the way the behavior pattern, because the autism spectrum disorder is a component or one of the disease or the pathology of developmental and behavior disorder. It is in this category of disorder. So the behavior component, behavior-wise, boys tend to be detected earlier than girls. Based on this, the way they manifest their the behavior abnormalities rather than girls. Otherwise, there's no other genetic or environmental factors that would be making girls or boys to be more predominant than girls. This was one of the facts.
Dr. Jean-Paul also says that when autism is recognized earlier, it helps the child to get the help he or she needs on time.
The earlier you detect the issue, the earlier the best, the earlier the intervention you make to help this child to be able to perform some activities, we see improvement. That is what you asked me. Yes. There are many, because we said these children have brain. They have got brain. Their brain performs. So they have a way of the network of the neurons into the brain, they are networking. So they have ability to perform skills because they have got a brain. You asked me an example. I have several children I saw even in the school of Larissa's place. Children are performing very well music, playing piano, as the way you have never listened the kind of beauty music. I wish you could listen one. The children who are designer, who perform the designing, they make this kind of coloring things. So they perform things. When they are detected earlier, they got the chance of being helped, and they discover the inner strength that they've got because.
Dr. Héritier Gashema is a gynecologist and a subspecialist in fetal medicine. He says that so far they cannot be able to predict that the baby will be born with autism, and that a mother cannot be blamed for giving birth to an autistic child.
Should not be blamed for having a baby with hearing loss. So it's not only for hearing loss. Most of babies with congenital abnormalities, moms are tending to blame themselves that they contributed to this, but this is, I can say, abnormalities that occurred in the womb when the baby is being formed. There is no contribution to a mother or a man. It just, I can say, to the way that people can understand it is when a man gives a spermatozoa and a woman gives an ovules, they will have a kind of transformation to make a man, a woman with all anatomical structures. So throughout those processes, there might be an error.
Early intervention is important. Not only giving children with autism the best start possible, but also the best chance of developing to their full potential. The sooner a child gets help, the greater the chance for learning and progress. Enora Gladys, RwandaTV News.
And it's from this that we sum up tonight's edition. On behalf of the entire news production as well as the technical team that made it happen, many thanks for being with us on today's edition of Rwanda Television News. Up until next time, stay safe and we wish you a great night. Goodbye.